entertainment is Brad, the dad and father Greg, the SmackDaddies. SmackDaddies, the revolutionary podcast of sports entertainment is Brad, the dad and father Greg, the SmackDaddies.
Hello, friends, and welcome to your SmackDown review for the huge Pop Hub. My name is Brad Dad, and I got bad news for you. I know it's only our second night on Huge Pop, but we have had an injury. Greg, Father Feltham, is unavailable. However, I have found a replacement. Come on down, Ricky! Wait, Greg's available? Oh, well, in that case. Sorry, Ricky. And Ricky's out of here. And enter. Let me try that again. Hello, friends. Welcome to your SmackDown review for Huge Pop Network. I'm Brad the Dad, and riding shotgun with me is my tag team partner, Greg, Father Feltham.
Let's see my son.
Greg's like looking at me very confused. Don't worry, Greg. That's going to be fun in post.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're starting off just as well as what I thought SmackDown was like tonight. So, yeah.
See, I'm in a better mood, I think, than you are.
Woo!
Because you know why?
Why?
So for long-time listeners of the podcast, people who may have been with us in the before times, as
That's
I like
right.
to say,
Mm-hmm.
You know what was going on, Greg?
I was going to say, you had your nap,
Yes.
and then you started SmackDown 40 minutes late.
Yes. How'd you know?
Because I know how you work.
Oh gosh, yeah. I started 40 minutes late. I put a post up late on the board. We're gonna have to get in the habit of putting a post up on the board. I was like, we probably should have put something on the board in case people wanted to chat, but it's there if people want to comment. We'll probably post. We'll read some of the comments that are there from this board. If we don't get any comments, well, then you don't get a free t-shirt. Oh, wait, did I say free t-shirt? Yes, we're going to start a little t-shirt giveaway because we have some SmackDaddies t-shirts as I'm wearing in the video tonight. SmackDaddies. And
I'm wearing Marvin the Martian.
Yeah, I remember to put on my SmackDaddies t-shirt tonight because I wanted to plug this, Greg, because if we have SmackDaddies t-shirts, we should give them away. We gave one away to Burkhead after he entered our last contest. So
That's fair.
If you go over and check us out on YouTube, once we get to, let's say the first time, Greg, let's just set the bar real low. First time we can get to 100 subscribers on YouTube and let's say 25 on our socials because we are now SmackDaddies.ca on Instagram and Twitter.
Sounds good to me.
So once we get those, we'll have Randy ship the shirts down here in Nova Scotia, and then we will ship them anywhere in the world, all expenses paid. And we may throw in some random Canadian goodies if we're shipping them someplace. What the heck?
Fair.
Yeah, there you go. Some fan appreciation to start tonight. But Greg, we are on the USA Network, which means it's time to celebrate America.
Good morning, USA. I got a feeling that it's gonna be a wonderful day. The sun in the sky has a smile on his face, and he's shining a salute to the American race. Oh boy, it's swell to say, good morning, USA.
Well, Brad, that's the name of this week's episode. Good morning, USA, as we're here on a Saturday morning here.
Greg, the only thing I will say to you is at the end of this, boy, did I miss the 11 o'clock news or the 10 o'clock news.
Oh, you better believe it. As I'm looking at my watch, I'm like, oh, dear God, please stop. Please stop. How is it that people watch a 3-hour Raw and then they're like, oh, no, wait, we're going to go back to 2 hours now. I'm like, oh, well, great. And then I was like, oh, wait. Oh, crap. Are we going to get 3-hour SmackDowns? Please, for the love of all things holy, no.
Stop kicking him. He's already dead.
Yes, exactly. I am the beaten horse right now. Won't somebody think of the children? Like, dear God in heaven.
Oh, how many Simpsons quotes can we cram into this episode? We may have a counter up in the corner of this. So, Greg, Did you have a long week? Have we started the god awful 6 o'clock in the morning practices for your son?
Not once, but twice this week. My son was on ice at 6, which means 4:45 wake up and out the door at around 5:10 to get him to the arena for 5:30 for 6 a.m. ice.
Because he has to be at school at what time?
8. So
Yeah.
6 to 7 on ice, home long enough to shower and get out the door to get to school for 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I had that in my high school routine. I much prefer my kids' high school routine, which is 9 o'clock. So Maddie is living the dream in university. She has 4 classes, crazy Tuesday, Thursday. She has 1 class on Monday and Wednesday, and can go over, like, she went over to socialize with some of her friends today, but none of her classes start before 10 a.m.
That means you miss all the traffic. Nothing wrong with that.
She goes out to get a bus here, like,
Right.
like barely before 9 o'clock. And I'm like, this is nuts. And then James, his bus doesn't roll around the corner till like 10 to 9. I'm like, what? How come me? Wait, that was not my high school.
Nope. That's, yeah. Yeah, out here it's 8 to 2 or 8 to 2:10 or whatever it is. But yeah, it's an interesting early start to the day. Brad, how was your week? Because at this point, I'm just going to stall as much as I can before we have to talk about this.
Yeah, I was doing adulting things. So working on proposals for the 2025 year, including making sure that they match up with our KRAs, which, yeah, it's like, these are very adult words that I don't even know if I'm 100% sure what the KRA acronym is, but I'm learning, and I'm writing proposals like a big boy.
Excellent.
What about you, buddy? What were you up to this week?
Boy, I don't know. I honestly don't remember most of this week. It's been a bit of a blur. Today was a day, though. Today was a bit of a day. Couple of reasons, and today's a day. Honestly, Brad, I think I'm going to have to start with this whole bit here now is a bit of a confession. Confession, I hear, is good for the soul. It cleanses the soul. So here I am, humbled before you as I, confess my sins. So today, I was going to say, last Sunday, the lady who lives 2 doors down from us, there's a woman and her husband and the woman's mom were living there 2 doors down from us. The woman's mom had gotten sick. She'd been living there now for 3 years or so. As she was taking care of her mom. Mom got sick and passed away on Sunday. So today was a wake for her down about 2 hours or so from our house. So myself and my wife finished work early, and we hit the road and drove down there. So we did the whole wake thing, and that was kind of fine and good. Fortunately, I guess, my wife was with me, so I didn't, pick up any digits or anything else while I was at said funeral. Shout out to some people who may do that. And then we were kind of driving home, and this is, where the real confession takes place. So my confession, Brad, and I'm glad I know you're sat down as I say this. Me, your humble servant, while may enjoy, roast beef and beef products at various times in my life and in my day, I, Greg Feltham, Father Greg, as you know me, have never had Arby's.
Wait, what?
I have never eaten Arby's. And I did not have Arby's today. But the closest Arby's, the only Arby's in Nova Scotia, is about an hour and a half away from our home, where you and I live. And I, of course, drove by it today, myself and my wife. And I even asked my wife, I'm like, honey, would you like to go in and go to Arby's? And she's like, honestly, just like, I really am not feeling a roast beef sandwich. And I was like, okay, that's fair. I mean, roast beef, an acquired taste, if you will. I was like, well, can I get you some curly fries? No, not feeling that. I'm like, okay. It's like, if I want curly fries, I can get better curly fries at home. I'm like, all right, that's fair. So I am still in my 40s and I have never had Arby's.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, for those roast beef connoisseurs out there, maybe they're having roast beef every day of the week, for all I know. I tip my hat to them. I may not participate or partake as often, but I like what I like.
So I gotta speaking of confessions, I gotta let you know something. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
So when in the late 80s, early 90s, here in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia,
Right.
behind the Royal Bank in
Right.
downtown Cole Harbour,
Yeah.
there is now a pizza place, which was a Dairy Queen till
That
it burned
burnt down.
down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what was in there beforehand?
I do. That was an Arby's, and
That was an Arby's, and it closed. I swear to goodness, Greg, it closed the day that McCain started selling curly fries. Like a month later, that Arby's closed, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
so it's funny. Like, and I didn't notice them this trip to the States, but on my last trip to the States, when I went down with the family last summer, we were. I mean, you and I, Brad, when we went through Walmart in Andover, what's the first thing we saw? We saw curly fries in the freezer section, right? Like, yeah, like so, and they were Arby's branded curly fries. So, yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, there was an Arby's here, at the end of the Cirque in Woodside. Like, I mean, there was Arby's here in the city, but they're all gone. They've been gone for, I don't know, 5+ years, more than 5 years.
No,
Maybe
it's more
10
than
years.
that. Yeah, it may have been as long. Like the one down in Woodside may have closed after 9/11. Like I think that the terrorists took Arby's away.
Well, no. Well, I mean, it did close. I moved up here in 2007, and the Arby's was there then. So I'd say it was probably pushing 2010 or so when that closed.
So yeah, then it's not a random world event. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, Greg, you ready? I gotta bring up the microphone on this because we have a phone call. I don't think this has ever happened before on the SmackDaddies podcast, but all right, let's see if this is gonna work. I'm gonna try and hit the magic button.
All right. Okay, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, long-time listener, first-time caller in. It's Peter here. Brad and Greg, I was just wondering, what's your favorite kind of glaze on your donuts? Do you like your strawberry glaze? Do you like a little baby gravy? You tell me. What's your favorite glaze? What's your favorite icing on top of one of your Tim Hortons up there in Canada? Yeah, Maritimers.
Well, Peter, good to have you call in here. Thanks for calling in. First of all, I gotta correct you right off the bat, my friend. While Brad may be a Maritimer, I personally do not identify as a Maritimer. Being from Newfoundland, I am a Newfoundlander. I may reside now in the Maritimes, but I will never consider myself a Maritimer.
Are you a Newfoundlander or are you a Newfie? Like, what is the correct terminology?
No. You never. That's very derogatory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. That being said, I mean, Peter there does have a very interesting question regarding, the flavoring, the topping on your donuts at the Tim Hortons. Brad, I know you just as well as I enjoy a Tim Hortons every once in a while. I mean, a little harder for you being having issues with gluten and that sort of thing. But I know deep down you like a donut every once in a while.
My cheat donut is a double chocolate.
Double chocolate, interesting. So for me, it depends. At Tim Hortons, I personally like a vanilla dip with that vanilla frosting. However, when I'm in the US, and I hit the Krispy Kreme, or sorry, not the Krispy Kreme, my apologies, the Dunkin' Donuts, it's usually the strawberry.
So there is a limited edition Nutella donut, which I did cheat and have. May have regretted it a little bit the next day, but that Nutella glaze on top with the Nutella filling.
Yeah, and they're now putting filling like in the round donuts with round donuts, but the donuts with the hole in the middle. They're now actually filling the ring of donuts with filling. Now I saw on the sign when I stopped today to grab my darling wife a Tim Hortons London Fog as we made our trek down to the South Shore. So yeah, tell you what a world we're living in, Brad.
Diabetes in a box, baby. We got diabetes in a box.
Thank God they haven't opened a Krispy Kreme here because, dear God in heaven.
Yep, they're the donuts there. But I will say, highly underrated is the Timbits. Highly underrated.
That's very fair.
And they're so beloved in Canada. That is what we call our hockey team. Our youth hockey league is the Timbits League.
And it's only not at all because they ended up, heavily subsidizing and paying for all that. So.
All of that stuff. Greg, there's a lot of things we could talk about, but I think we have to face our fate.
Oh God. All right.
All right, I'm going to insert the theme song here. Okay, so Greg, first of all, I've worked really hard on updating our socials and our logos and our website.
Okay.
And our crack team is going to have to work all weekend long because SmackDown starts with a new logo.
Yes, sir.
The hell, Greg? I didn't get a polite message from my friend Paul. Dear Brad, update your logos and graphics because we're changing everything.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. I mean, this episode starts with your dear friend Paul coming out. And I'm sat there and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, we get Paul, Triple H, Levesque. Like one of these times, I mean, we got Triple H. I'm like, would it kill them every once in a while to just throw us a bone? And instead of having, the Motorhead Triple H, I want like the Blue Blood Triple H music to come on as Triple H comes out to the ring.
That was not where I thought you were going with this. I was 100% expecting you to be like, could they throw us a bone and send me Stephanie?
Yeah, they're not going to do that to me. They really are. They're really trying my patience here. Second week back, Brad, and I'm like, what the hell have you got me into?
I think I've gotten you into, I would say they blew the budget on the first episode on the pyro after Triple H welcomes us to SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, Greg, we are going to start this show with match number 1, Cody Rhodes in a steel cage defending his title versus Solo Sikoa. But before we get to the match, rewind. Our first recap of the night is brought to you by... I have no idea, dude. Like, why are we getting recaps about, how great Cody is in this match? Just get into the match.
Yeah, okay. You gave us the first 30 minutes commercial free. At least you did on USA. Did you watch this on? Did we get it on Sportsnet too?
I watched it on Sportsnet. We are 30 minutes commercial free. But I will also say, if you notice, we weren't 100% commercial free. We did have the little pop-ups in the corner advertising the toys.
Okay.
You were paying that much attention. Greg's like, you made me watch this whole episode. I was not paying attention, and you were the one in charge of notes.
So here's the other thing that I noticed on this episode. At least on the USA feed, there were a lot of, at first I thought was technical glitches, but in reality, it was actually, I think that they were bleeping the crowd.
Yeah, I think they were definitely bleeping the crowd. The crowd was a little rowdy tonight. Everybody felt way more over. This felt like watching AEW during its peak.
Well, I'll tell you, I agreed with you until the very last part of tonight.
Oh, yeah. The crowd did not like the ending of this show. So no commercial breaks, little pop-ups. This was a very slow match to start.
Yeah, it was.
we got a very slow match, Greg, and I was like, I don't mean to be a negative Nilly, but it was
I'll bring you down. Don't worry.
Greg. It was not bad. It just was like, what the heck? Why are we so slow to start this whole thing?
Do you know what? I kind of wish they did an undo of this whole night. Like, there is nothing that in a month's time, there is nothing about tonight we're going to be like, oh shit, do you remember how good that was? Because there was nothing there.
Greg, it wasn't that bad. Okay, so this first match, we get like there was a bunch of really cool spots. The one thing I wanted to point out to you, and I'm gonna put it in post, but I'm gonna text it to you right now just so that you can see this.
All right.
Greg, the side by side. The moment Cody was here, I realized why he has his blonde hair.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The side by side here of Cody and Ric Flair is incredible because that's why Cody dyed his hair blonde so he could bleed.
Sort of. I mean, Cody's bleeding tonight was definitely a WWE version of bleeding because, like, Cody bled, but you could have fixed this with a small band-aid. Like, you don't need stitches for Cody tonight. Like, I don't know if it's. I've seen pinpricks that draw more blood than this. Like,
Ric Flair is literally rolling around in his grave and he's not even dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. So there's your image of Cody bleeding or not bleeding. The spot where he gets power bombed into the cage, that was great. I love that spot because he just like sinks down, just kind of rolls down. He looked like he was blasted into oblivion. There were some really great spots. I love the Cody cutter off of the cage when he was climbing up trying to escape and he jumps backwards into there. Dude, that good, and that's a big shout out to Solo and Cody to make that look. That could have gone so wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that was the high point here, right?
Or was it that, or Cody's jump off the top of the cage?
Yeah, that was an okay spot in this one too. I like that.
We got a couple of really good spots, but this all led up to basically Cody countering. What do we call that? The Samoan Spike, and then we get our Cody is hit like I think there's like
18 crossroads later,
and Cody wins. He only hit one in the last sequence, but he had already hit 2 or 3. Plus Cody cutters off of the top of everything and splashes. Solo was a great base in this match. And I literally wrote my notes, where's Roman Reigns? Because I figured Roman was going to cost him the match to keep Solo credible.
Well, he was announced for the show, right? Like, so we knew he was coming. It was just a matter of when.
Yes. And the when was after the match, the Bloodline attacks. They climb into the cage. They have Cody trapped. They beat him down. And Jacob Fatu climbs up to jump. And I'm like, didn't this guy just break his foot or do something? They're not letting him jump from up there, and they're not letting him jump from up there because Roman's music hits. He comes out, he comes in, and he basically single-handedly fights off the Bloodline. And for the first time in 2 times, we have Jacob Fatu being held back by his tribal chief to go in and fight Roman. He pulls him out of the ring. The tag champs attack. And for the first time of 2 times, the tag champs are left laying by Cody and Roman. Craig is in a stunned silence.
Do you know what? Do you know what the highlight of this whole match and sequence was?
The fact the tag champs got beat up multiple times?
No, that's not it. Was when Cody told Nick Aldis that I'm done with Silcola, I'm done with the Bloodline. And I was like, thanks be to God.
Because, there is an out for this, right? Cody could have gone his own way and gone on to fight somebody else.
Yep.
And there is another Uso due to come back, and he's healthy. Where is Jimmy Uso?
There's lots of Usos around. I mean, there's Sammy Uso, who's got nothing to do right now. Just apparently wear Calgary Flames jerseys. Like,
Oh, that was a cool tribute. But
it was. I get.
I get you though. It's like they have cousins. Daddy Rikishi could be brought out. Like somebody.
Yeah, and do you know what the biggest letdown of tonight was? And it wasn't that, The Rock didn't show up or something like super major or something like that happened. Where the hell's Paul Heyman? Where's Paulie Dangerously?
Paging Paul Heyman. Well, maybe it's not until they start bringing them all back together and Paul Heyman's gonna be the mastermind to bring the family, the other family.
I said last week on the show, Brad, of how done I was with the bloodline. I can't believe it, but I'm actually even less enthused after tonight.
Greg, and because they love you so much, recap number 2. Hey, Greg, bloodline, more bloodline. They showed
I am trying to keep it PG on the show, but so help me Lord.
So yes, and as you mentioned, Nick Aldis, Cody, they're done with the bloodline. Cody's done with the bloodline, or so we thought. Match number 2 of the night: Michin versus Piper Niven. Piper Niven is accompanied by Chelsea Green. Greg, this might be the best match of the whole show.
Yeah, and another little known fact about this match: Piper Niven had more blood from her nose than what Cody Rhodes had off the top of his head.
So the match starts. Piper Michin dives to the outside on top of Piper. She gets into it with Chelsea. She hits Chelsea with a kendo stick. Piper wipes her out by diving off the apron. They go back in the ring. There's a big back suplex, and then Michin hits Eat Defeat. They win, and after the match, they beat up. Chelsea jumps in. They beat up Michin, and Chelsea delivers an unpretty her onto a garbage can. This was everything we needed. It sets up a feud. The winner of this feud can go back and feud for the title, which should be Chelsea Green. And Greg, it was faster than the introductions, which took 15 minutes for the first match.
Is it sad state of affairs of where we are in SmackDown that Michin is in your best match of the night?
No, because Chelsea Green was involved.
That's fair. All right.
So in the crowd, we have Rob Van Dam and his girlfriend, which I'm putting in quotes.
Sure.
We have Vicky Guerrero, and we have Gunther, and the man who Sean Burkhead is plotting his end, Ludwig Kaiser.
Okay, and while it was great to see these guys in the crowd, there's a couple of times tonight where I'm like, for the love of God, give them a microphone, give them 5 minutes. Because for example, Vicky Guerrero, all she had to do was stand out there to get ready to set up a match. Like, have guest GMs in for tonight. Like, you had 2 or 3 there. Like, you could have had Vicky Guerrero put together that women's match and stood out there, did the excuse me bit, had the nuclear heat on her. Everyone would have been happy. We'll get to more later, but yeah, it's like great to see them. Love it. A fun thing, but give them something to do instead of just waiting from the camera. Like, they could have just as well been like, it's very much to me like we were back in the COVID, what is it they called that?
The
Thunderdome days. Like, you could have just zoomed in and waved. Like,
they could have put up a screen and they didn't make them travel.
Yeah.
So, recap number 3. Kevin Owens and A-Town Down Under the triple threat, setting up the match for tonight. And this is the biggest pop, so much so that we spoofed it off the top of the podcast. I could not believe this. We are getting Kevin Owens versus A-Town Down Under, and then Kevin calls out his tag team partner, Ricky. And the highlight of this is Michael Cole and Corey Graves, and our good friend Ricky gets torn apart because he didn't shave his chest or his back. The long-lost son of George the Animal Steele, as he's called on commentary. Oh my gosh.
I popped hard for the George the Animal Steel, or if you prefer, I had a huge pop for George the Animal Steel.
And then poor Reggie, the announcer says,
Ricky.
He's Ricky. And well, it's fine because Kevin Owens calls him Reggie the second time before he stuns him out of his boots.
We had a Reggie, didn't we? Oh, wait, never mind.
Oh, yeah. He, even worse for poor Reggie was that he was back in NXT in part of Out the Mud, and that faction has kind of gone on without him.
Yeah.
Anyways, Reggie is gone. So is Ricky. And we hear voices in our heads. They call to me. They understand. I was excited. I would because whenever Randy Orton's out there, the crowd is treating him like a living legend, which they should, because every Randy Orton match could be the last one.
It could.
Have you heard any of the stories he's told about him trying to get back to wrestling and how messed up his back is?
No.
So there's been interviews. He's talked about how he didn't think he was coming back.
Okay.
So I'm very grateful to have him back. And Kevin Owens starts the House of Fire, but then he gets attacked on the outside. Randy Orton gets driven into steel, and Kevin Owens gets backdropped. And the announcers again, Corey Graves, they're posing. A-Town Down Under is doing the Randy Orton pose, and they're like, "Yeah, making fun of Randy Orton. That's good for your career." Those guys, this whole show, Greg, was Michael Cole and Corey Graves showing why I think they're the best combination in WWE.
Yeah, I think so. By the way, this guy's name actually is Ricky. His name is Rocking Ricky Gibson of Midnight Heat.
Well, I think they could have brought both members of Midnight Heat out. It wouldn't have mattered. So Kevin Owens gets beat down. He then does the coolest hot tag ever where he rolls out of the ring, runs around the ring, makes a hot tag. We get the Randy Orton best of classic hot tag, but instead near the end, we get double draping DDTs and double RKOs.
Hold on, this is where somehow I switched channels on the TV. Mm-hmm. Jessica Carr transported into Aubrey Edwards, and we broke out into an AEW tag team match here because we threw all the rules out the window.
And Kevin Owens went to fantasy camp and got to do his best Randy Orton impression.
Yeah.
To his credit, that RKO was pretty darn good looking.
The draping DDT, you know what? I think the students become the master because, Randy's got to, not show his counting out loud 3, 2, 1 to time it. But yeah, no.
It was, dude. This was great. The thing I liked about this match was it didn't outstay its welcome. It was fine. It was very serviceable. It was fun. It was fan friendly, and instead of just having Randy Orton come out, Ricky got a payday.
It was a great Rampage match here on SmackDown.
Craig, I can't even believe it because now, these are things you usually like.
Oh, loved it. I actually enjoyed this, but it was a great Rampage match here on SmackDown
because the referee wasn't calling it. Gotcha. Okay, but your birthday / Christmas arrive all at once because Nia Jax is coming out for a promo segment.
Oh my gosh. How is it why is it that we're watching the show again? Can you remind me how did you get me to come back? We had a lovely summer.
We had a lovely summer. Well, so did Booker T and Sharmell and Michael P.S. Hayes and the glorious one, Bobby Roode, who were in the crowd. For these ones, it's you guys are just hanging out backstage, right? We just slid you out on camera.
I was going to say the Booker T and Queen Sharmell. Yeah, they had to fly them in. But yeah, Michael P.S. Hayes, he was there. Well, he did the Roman segments, right? Bobby Roode does the Roman segments. So yeah, they were there. They're like, oh shit, go out in front of the curtain for a minute, will you?
Yeah, sorry. This Bobby Roode was in the next one. This was the Sheamus one.
This is the Sheamus.
Sheamus was flown in. So,
yeah.
Okay. And then we see Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax throwing fish. And Michael Cole slides in.
This was the highlight of SmackDown. Right here. Is Tiffy time as a fishmonger? Oh, you better believe. I could have watched hours of this footage.
I think Burkhead would have said he would have preferred if she was trying to catch the fish in her ring gear.
Among other things, sure. I'm sure that there's a lot of jokes there that could be made, but we shall move on.
Okay, Cole slides in his joke here where he says, I was spending my afternoon at the bar. And I was like, man, you could tell that he who shall not be named is nowhere near this place anymore. Because there's no way Michael Cole would make drinking jokes before.
Oh, see, like that could have also been turned into a Sheamus, I mean, and that other guy who's on Rampage probably about them being the bar.
Oh, they are the bar.
That's right.
Okay, so Nia is in the ring. Greg is rethinking his life's decisions. And she talks about how easy she became queen of the ring, how easy it was to become the champ. And she doesn't even care
This was the Nia's Easy promo. Gotcha.
Yep. Bailey comes out, and Bailey's doing her heel gimmick, ?
Yeah, what the hell? Like, Bailey, are you heel? Are you a face? I don't know.
So she wants a rematch, and then Sean Burkhead's life improves greatly because his favorite wrestler comes out without Ludwig Kaiser. Tiffy Time is out with her briefcase that is now her handbag.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And Tiffy blames Nia for the loss from last week. And before they start fighting, Nia catches herself saying, hey, why don't we just beat up Bailey? And the save is made by Naomi, who comes out, and she wants a world title match too. And this sets up...
Hold on. At this point, this is when I'm really starting to rethink my choices here, because I'm like, one, what in God's name is Naomi wearing in her alien outfit gear with her alien sunglasses? And then two, I'm thinking to myself, am I right in remembering that, she was actually not in WWE? Like, and she was in TNA and she was, everywhere. And she came back to WWE to this? Like, they've really dropped the ball, Naomi. I hate to say it.
They have really made her not a big deal in a big fat hurry.
Yeah.
So let's put all of that aside because we do get the coolest stipulation I've ever seen for a tag match. So next week, we are going to get Bailey and Naomi versus Tiffany and Nia Jax. If Bailey or Naomi win, whoever gets the pinfall gets the title match at Bad Blood. Dude, if they lose,
right,
whoever eats the pinfall gets moved to Raw.
Yeah, this is the stupidest thing I have ever seen or heard in my life. This is one of those things where I think someone earlier today was like, hey, let's go and throw this stipulation together because we know it's never going to pay out. Right? You know that Naomi or Bailey are not going to leave SmackDown, so you know that one of them is going to pin and probably pin Tiffy. So is it Naomi? Is it Bailey? Or, based on kind of what we heard tonight, they were like, well, the person who pins them is going to get the championship match. This is going to be both Naomi and Bailey on Tiffy Stratton. So two of them get the pin. So it's the 2-on-1 that Bailey and Naomi talked about against Nia.
Greg, I don't think it matters. I think it's going to be a heck of a match either way.
I think I'm going to try to find someone to cover for me next week so I don't have to watch this shit.
Dude,
do you know what? I got to see if I can get Ricky's number.
Call Ricky, see if after he wakes up from the stunner, see if he's back up. Listen, you're the one that stunned Ricky. It wasn't my fault. You could have let him do this show instead of you tonight. Just walk over there and shake him and see if he'll wake up. Okay, so we're gonna get Roman Reigns. Nick Aldis tells Roman's gonna go to the ring and deal with this issue. That's gonna be our main event. But before that, we get Teddy Long, Bobby Roode, Damian Priest, and Ron Simmons all on cameras. And Greg's favorite match of the night, the main event.
No, stop.
What?
We had Teddy Long on SmackDown, and he put no one in a goddamn tag match. or threw him against Undertaker. What are we doing? Like, seriously, what in God's name are we doing with this show?
He didn't even dance.
No, he said holla holla to the camera. Great, fantastic, love it. Give him the mic and have him put a couple people in tag match. Oh, I don't know, like that segment we just had.
Playa, you all are going to settle this next week in a tag team match. Or Vicky Guerrero could have interrupted any number of these promos and said, excuse me.
I am so close to cursing right now, and I'm trying to keep it clean, so you can put as much of this as you want on YouTube, Brad, but I'm really having a hard time.
Greg, you're not going to get any easier. So
nope.
Their best of 5 match, which is actually a best of 500 match, Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade. So here's the worst part about this.
That there's going to be another one.
No, that these guys are really good. And
not tonight.
You didn't like this match.
No. And if you watched it, I don't know what camera angles you were watching, but like they weren't even like there was towards the middle to end of the match, they weren't even hitting each other. Like the camera angles showed that they were 3 and 4 feet apart, hitting each other when and not connecting. But it was like botchamania shit in this match. No, absolutely not. I am so sick of seeing Carmelo Hayes. I'm getting sick to the point of seeing Andrade. I'm definitely sick of seeing the two of these guys together. I do not want to see this on my TV ever again.
There was some cool counters that were thought of, but I think you're right. I do think that there was a lot of air in between some of them. But little things like Andrade being able to counter Melo's nothing but net leg drop from the top rope. The fact that Melo knew that Andrade was going to do the double moonsault and actually put his knees up. Those were all great spots. Okay, the one thing they did hit, though, Greg, was the finisher, which Michael Cole called a grande message, because it was a message from the top rope. The spinning, the spinning, I don't even know what to call that. It's like a spinning drop on your head. Anyways, the finish was good. Nope. Greg's like, nope.
I tuned out by that point.
The scissors coming out. Listen, one of the bigger pops of the night was our buddy LA Knight, and he comes out and confirms it next week. Andrade versus LA Knight for the U.S. title. Greg?
The line of the night here with LA Knight saying Andrade won the Hit It and Quit It sweepstakes, or as it's called in Milton, Ontario, the Eric Blondin sweepstakes.
Oh, man. I thought that was a Charlotte Flair reference, to Hit It and Quit It.
Well.
Okay, so main event segment. Greg, we are going to get Roman Reigns come out. He has a slight tweak to his theme. I
hate this new theme. It's terrible.
Really?
Oh my God, no. They've ruined Roman Reigns' theme. His old one was so much more powerful. This one here feels very impotent.
Man. So Nick Aldis tries to be nice to him the way I'm trying to be nice about SmackDown. And you shut him down the way Nick got shut down by Roman the way that you're shutting down the show. And he basically announces he's the tribal chief. He's the only tribal chief, which could be the other meaning of OTC. He is this is bloodline business, and he doesn't need any help. This is his ring and his WWE. And that brings out Cody? That's all it took? Greg shakes his head and tries to muster any thought. While you think about what you're going to say, let me just finish this. It doesn't take long. Cody steps up into the ring. They face off. He said, it hasn't been your ring since WrestleMania. Cody and him, they face each other. Cody and Roman are staring at each other. They throw the mics away. Jacob Fatu and Solo come out. Looks like we're going to get a face-off. They get attacked from behind in the ring. Roman and Cody are getting beat down by the tag champs, who last on offense for all of 4 seconds, and then they get eviscerated by Cody and Roman. Then Roman picks up the contract, he signs, and Cody reluctantly asks for the contract. Roman hands it to him, and we are now getting Cody and Roman versus Solo and the werewolf, Jacob Fatu, at Bloodline. Just when you think they're done, they draw you back in.
Well, they didn't draw me back in. And when you started mentioning about the tag team champs, blowing it in 4 seconds, I thought about LA Knight and his hit it and quit it line. But here we are with the final segment of the show. And I got to tell you, if we weren't podcasting, I would have turned off the TV. Honest to God, I would have turned off the TV if I'd known knowing that this was the last segment of the show. Because I'm done. I'm done with this bloodline shit.
So we know it was leading to this match. The biggest problem is there's no way to separate Cody from them.
Yeah.
That is the actual problem.
So here's the other thing, the other part of this. This is where I think WWE has a problem, and maybe it's just me being cranky old man here, but the crowd was not into this. The crowd, you could hear a pin drop in that arena when Cody Rhodes came out. The only time you heard them was when it got to the right part of the downstate song. Like
the
whoa part. Everything else, I mean, you could have heard a pin drop in that arena. There was no one there who was making any sound. It was, you'd swear you were at an AEW show. Like there, wait, that's how bad it was.
That deserves a well done, sir.
Thank you.
They did sell it, which is crazy considering that was a sold out arena, and they put them to sleep. It was weird. I don't think the crowd wants it either, because there is a Cody Randy Orton match that needs to be played out at some point, and
you know what I'm hopeful for? What? John Cena. John Cena is the savior at this point, because that's the only thing I can see happening that we can go and break Cody off to do something there or something. But I just the bloodline stuff is just got to get off the TV. It is old. It is stale. It's not progressing. I'm so done with this.
Greg, time to get out your scissors, because it's time for the SmackDown synopsis.
This is your SmackDown synopsis.
And I have my boo button, and I have my scissors. I have everything ready, because I think Greg is about to attack this episode like me with a set of clippers after James hasn't cut his hair for about 6 months.
Bradley the Dadley, I have to tell you that tonight I am retiring the scissors.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm retiring the scissors because this thing needs a guillotine.
A weed whacker. He's just coming in and yeah, okay, Greg. Well,
all right.
I can feel that's coming out. Let's break the beginning. Do you want to keep Triple H's Welcome to SmackDown, or is Triple H cut?
Sure, we can keep Triple H.
Yeah.
But I feel
it would have been better if I had gotten, Blue Blood Hunter Hearst Helmsley music here, but yeah, all right, I'm fine.
Cody versus Solo Sikoa, including all of the Bloodline shenanigans afterwards.
Don't even need to say it.
Did not make the cut this week.
No, sir.
For those of you listening to this for the first time, the way this works is Greg can either keep a piece of the show, he can either cut it, or he can pull out the always favorite Superstar special where we play the Mario music, and basically it means you're just going to watch the beginning and the end and skip everything in the middle. So this takes us to Michin versus Piper Niven.
You know what? I think we're going to hit the Superstar special.
Yeah, I don't even know if you need a Superstar this, Greg. It was like a minute and a half.
2 minutes and 2 seconds. But here's the thing. You didn't need the Chelsea Green interference on the outside, so you could cut that in the middle.
You could make this into a quality YouTube short, and I'm sure WWE has already made this whole match into that. Okay, Kevin Owens and Ricky versus A-Town Down Under that becomes Kevin Owens and Randy Orton versus A-Town Down Under.
We're going to keep all this.
Yeah.
Even if it's, like I said, a Rampage match breaking out on SmackDown, we're going to keep this because in reality, it's going to be a very short show if I don't.
Yeah. Anything in the background stage tonight, I am just already made an executive decision that we're going.
Backstage, yes, except for at the fish market in Seattle.
Yes, we can keep, but that was part of I would call that part of Naya's promo, but that's the only part of Naya's promo that are you going to keep that? I'll let you keep that separately. That we're keeping.
That's separate. Yeah, that's
okay,
separate.
what about the rest of the promo, Greg?
That all can go.
Greg has fired Naya, and he doesn't care. You're right. They have made Naomi a nothing in record time.
Yep. And
she's not even on the same show as her husband.
Nope.
Okay, what are we going to do with Carmelo Hayes and Andrade?
I'm surprised you'd even get that out without.
So, I know, it's cut.
Okay.
This rebel heart.
That is a terrible sound. Thank you, Blondone, for adding to my soundboard. And finally, what do you want to do with As the Bloodline Turns?
That and going past 10 p.m. Eastern, this thing can be cut.
So, Greg, I think you've managed to cut this down to a very short match between Meechin and that we've turned to a YouTube short, Meechin and Piper, and where we're going to watch A-Town Down Under get destroyed by Randy Orton and Kevin Owens.
10 minutes there.
And thanks to Ricky.
And then Triple H beginning. So, I mean, this is a 15-minute show, guys.
And you can watch the clips of Cody jumping off of high things if you really want some bonus points.
Yep. This is 15 minutes. I mean, you could probably save 15% on your car insurance by calling Geico and have a better night.
So, Greg, let's go over this one time just for the people watching this on YouTube. So, on a 2-hour episode of SmackDown, what have you kept?
I've kept the very beginning.
Yep.
I've kept some fish throwing.
Yep.
I've kept a minute of the Meechin Piper Niven match, and I've kept 10 minutes of Kevin Owens and friends. And
I'm going to see if this week those might be graphics that appear in one of our YouTube shorts, which you check out at our YouTube channel, SmackDaddy, at the SmackDaddies on YouTube. I'm going to try and make those things pop in. I think this will be one of my YouTube projects for this week, because that's it. Good. And the rest of the show, kaboom! Greg blew it up.
Just like Marvin the Martian on my shirt. Where's the boom?
Where's the boom? Well, guys, that is it. So I want to say a special thank you, Greg. I don't know if you even know this, but on our YouTube channel, we got up to 53 subscribers in 1 week.
That's great.
That was a good start. So follow us on YouTube. We are going to be putting out more YouTube content. The first goal is 100. Once we get to 100 and we get 25 people on some of our other socials, we will then give away a t-shirt.
2 guys with faces for radio on YouTube. Yep.
That is definitely the way we're going. I should just put like more Tiffy pictures in when we're talking.
That is the only hope we have.
That is the only hope we have. So, other than that, Greg, is there anything else we should plug?
I don't know at this point. The SmackDown has taken the good out of me.
All right, I will plug our brothers who cover the Red brand. They are the Raw Dogs, Eric B. and Randy C. They are also on the Huge Pop Hub, and this Sunday, the big show, which also airs on TSN Radio, but you get a longer version if you subscribe to our podcast feed. You are going to hear episode number 3 of Huge Pop, and there is a big interview this week again, Greg. They make news. I've seen other sites quote some of the stuff from these things. So, and Jimmy's back from his honeymoon.
No, he's not.
He's still away? Oh, that'll be even more fun this week.
Yeah, he's on special assignment still. He will be connecting, is what I've been told. But Jimmy is still on special assignment.
Well, I do know they have a special interview so everything's gonna be great. So check out the shows over on Huge Pop. Thank you for hosting us as well, Huge Pop. And yeah, Greg, is there anything you want to tell the people to try and give them some hope, or would you like to just pass the baton right back?
If anyone has a phone number for Ricky, can you please send it to the SmackDaddies? Go to our website. Our contact info is there. you got Ricky's phone number, shoot it to us so I can get a hold of him for next week, because I can't wake him up. And yeah, oof.
Maybe we can get his tag partner in here to fill in next week.
Oof.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking out us wherever you found us. And we look forward to seeing you back next week.
The revolutionary podcast in sports entertainment. Father Greg and Brad, the dad bless you all with the lovely tales of Friday night, SmackDown and beyond. Go to the outer limits of your mind with the SmackDaddies. Go to the